Oh my gosh, you guys. Wow. So I just finished watching the episode, obviously. Um, I don't even know what to say, honestly. We're on try my best. Okay. So this episode was called, A Landmark Story. And we know it's not the finale. I thought it was the finale for some reason. I mean, I'm pretty sure I would be more pissed if it was the finale, honestly, because they ended on a huge freaking cliffhanger. Well, I don't say huge, but like it's still monumental in how they ended it, and it was bananas. Like I always feel like because the first 10 minutes for the past two episodes have been like crazy, and that's what happened in this one. Okay, so we know this episode was a really about finding out who Moriarty was. And there were like three times that I was like, no, because there was like two or three times that I saw a guy, like there were like three different people who Sherlock was convinced was Moriarty. Since there was no face or picture of him or anything before, he didn't have much to go on besides the name, which Sebastian gave him, and so Sebastian was his key, really, honestly, to finding out anything. And so in the first few minutes of this episode, what happens is Charlotte goes to visit Moran, um, because there's been like there. I can't remember. Was he called in? He went to go visit Moran in jail because he's put in jail in the episode. In the episode he was first introduced in. Gosh, which episode was that? I can't think of the title right now, but it wasn't that long ago. And so he visits Moran and he tries to talk to him about this guy because there was a murder in the beginning of the episode by like those God, I don't want to say it wrong. I think it's a pacer. Yeah, a pacer. When people when their heart isn't doesn't function correctly, sometimes they get a pacemaker put in them to help with that. And so the guy, it was this man sitting in a chair. He has glasses. He was creepy. He actually kind of reminded me um of a he did kind of slightly remind me of Moriarty, but it wasn't him because they showed him like really early on in the episode, and I was like, no, I thought about it, I was like, is that him? I don't think it's him but he was creepy and stuff in a way that made it seem like his sinister. He was very sinister, and like and the way he talked was just like very scary, and he was malicious. Really, he killed a guy through like electricity. Like he had this little control thing. And since the guy had a pacemaker, he kept pressing it because he was trying to get the guy to revoke the passing of this bill, and electronically on like this iPad or something. And first the guy wouldn't do it, and then because he kept shocking him, and eventually, even though he eventually revoked it, the man still freaking kept shocking him, and then he shocked him even after he did it. He shocked him until he died, which I was like, dude, this dude's crazy. And then so Charlotte can finding that guy later episode when he finds because there's this news reporter who they saw on the TV who they thought was the next target because there was another death. I think it was by a monument in New York. I cannot remember which one it was. And she was there, and so they figured that she was the next target for the for whoever was doing, whether it was Moriarty or it was someone from his network. And we how in the BBC Sherlock one we haven't learned about his network because we haven't seen any of his network at play yet. But so Sherlock and Watson go to the morgue and to find the body of the guy that they saw who's dead. And he go to buy all these bodies, and he's like, nope. He's like, embalmed. Watson is like, you have me doing something illegal, and you're like basically he's having fun with it. Um, you know how Sherlock gets excited about like murders in general. He was kind of like that, especially because he was about to like do the Y incision, um, but he has like no medical training at all. So Watson's like, no, and she took the scalpel from him and she did it. And while she was cutting the guy up, because he's fresh still, because he hasn't been embalmed yet, he's cutting the body. She's cutting the body, and he's looking like he is so excited. There's a creepy smile on his face, and I'm like, what's going on? Um, so he is really creepy. It's kind of akin to that the way Benedict's Sherlock is during the Reichenbach Fall, when there's the child abduction thing, when he's scraping up the little chemicals from the shoe print in that hallway. Remember that smile he had on his face? Yeah, Jonathan Miller's was a bit like that too. Just because Watson was cutting the body open and about to basically dissect a dead body. Probably like hours before, I mean after it happened. So that's crazy, right? And then let's see. And then after, because that's when they just found out about the pacemaker, because they didn't know. They knew because when they saw the body, there was just like this square patch where Watson was like, this dude has a pacemaker. Like, she knew that, but she went inside and she saw that there were some other things wrong with the heart. Because a lot of the things were like the blood was basically boiled, because she could see it, like she was able to describe it. I can't relay it back right now, but it was, she knows what she's doing, you know, she's a doctor, she was a surgeon. And then what happened next? And then they go on, and this kind of starts the search for Moriarty, really, because when he went to go see Moran the first time and during this episode, the first time he went to see him, he told him to shh about, because he ended up, oh, I didn't mention that in the beginning of his Moran, he freaking killed a guard because he wanted Sherlock to stay quiet about whatever he had told him. So he killed a guard. He's like, then he starts singing this really creepy tune, and I can't even remember, but it was so creepy when I watched it that I was petrified, honestly, because I was like, oh, this is very scary, because it's really creepy. And like, you know when we're watching like a murder show or something, or a movie, and sometimes there's like just a signal of something, like a significant type thing, either it's a poem or a little tune or a creepy whistle that the killer does, even if you don't know the killer yet, but you could hear, like they do like a silhouette of the person, and they do that, and they do something weird like that. That's what he did. He did this really creepy. He was singing this weird tune, and it was about Sherlock. It was like something about basically saying how Sherlock fell or something like that, which made me a little suspicious about things. And then he ends up singing again later in the episode, like at the end, but I'm gonna get to that in a minute, because that was bananas right there, which the ending was pretty much crazy. It was insane. What else? And so basically Sherlock goes on this hunt to find Moriarty, and he doesn't have much to go on, honestly. So he finds the other guy, the one with the glasses from the episode, who killed the man with the pacemaker. He finds him because the reporter lady I mentioned, she was running because they were trailing her, and Sherlock saw these bees, and I get excited because I know how much Sherlock, in any form, he was and he really loved bees. Like, he liked to study them, and that's interesting, right? I think that's cool because I like that they keep coming back to the bee thing because they've been to it a whole bunch of times during this series. And to come back, that's awesome. And he knew he Watson goes because he tells her it's like an African bee or something, and she goes, "You can African a bee." I was like, Watson. Oh crap! I forgot about this one part. When they were in the morgue and she was doing the dissection, um, I forgot. I think she told him to shut up or something because, or not to look like that because he was. I told you about the creepy smile he gave her. Well, when he was watching her do it, basically he was proud. He was complimenting her because she was doing such a good job. But so here Watson just made me laugh because she was like, "You can African be," and I thought that was so hilarious. And he's like, "These aren't from here because they're not from that area or whatever," and they found a hive. Like, do you know how when you go to like a honey farm and they have the little I don't know if they're I cannot remember what those things are called. You know the little sheets with the honey on it, but there's bees around it. They found one of those in the ground. So they walked around and they found this tree where there were bees collecting. There were like hundreds and hundreds of those bees. And honestly, I'd be petrified to be right there because I mean, bees are fascinating, but they also scare the hell out of me because they're stingers and stuff, and that would be freaking crazy to be around. And then and so they saw this guy later on. I think they had staked out that place. I can't remember. I think they did. Yeah, they staked out the place, and because Watson had got some Polish food because it was the only thing around. They sat on this bench and ate. And this scene kind of scared me a bit because Sherlock, he started, when it comes to the Irene situation in this storyline, at least, he loved her. He did, and he kind of reached that vulnerable point he did during the first Moron episode when he thought he was the one who killed her. And Sherlock was just like, he reached a place where, because Watson asked him what will he do once he finds Moriarty. He said, "I'm not gonna make the same mistake I did with Moran." So basically he was telling her he was gonna kill him. And it was scary. There was that scary look in his eye again while he's eating food and he's talking about killing somebody. And I was just like, oh, poor Sherlock. It made me want to cry because, like, the tone of his voice while he was talking about it was so frightening. But and then he kind of soothe what he was saying. He told Watson that he wouldn't ever want to let her know that when he's gonna do something bad like that because he respects her so much and he doesn't want her to know when he's fallen because she's done so much to pick him back up, basically. And I thought that was sweet, but I was still freaking petrified because that was a scary moment in that Sebastian Moran episode, the M episode. That's what it was, the M episode. When Sherlock, he was basically about to kill Moran, but then the whole Moriarty thing came up, and that's when he started to focus on Moriarty. And this was basically the beginning of the Moriarty arc for this. Well, I mean, like, not the beginning, but like the point where we're actually going to meet him. Seems like in the next episode. I'm not going to say. I'm trying to get to the end. And so they get this text on the phone for the guy. I'm pretty sure. I think it's the guy with the glasses. I can't remember. I'm not good with names unless they're people that I actually know from canon somehow. I don't remember that well. Or they're important. To me anyway. Like, if I haven't heard of them, I won't remember their names, I guess. So, and then, so I missed the guy with the glasses because he gets a text on the phone from that guy It wasn't from that guy. It was from Moriarty. Well, it's an unknown number. It's a completely different number. Every text message on the screen is a different number, but it's like a cryptic message. And so Sherlock goes to that guy because he gets a text when they're about to interrogate the guy with the glasses, and the guy with glasses tells him that's not the code we use, because he has to cipher it, right? Which brings me back to one of my favorite episodes of the movie Sherlock. God, almost forgot what it was for a second. The blind banker. Was it banker? Baker. God, I always, because people write it differently, so I'm not. I think it's blind baker, but it might be banker. I think it's bank. See, just ignore me for a minute there. I'm actually kind of really tired right now, but that's okay. I wanted to record this tonight. It'll most likely be up in the morning. So, and so he said he couldn't decode it, so he went to Sebastian Moran, who, as I said, killed the guard. And Sebastian did decode it, but he wouldn't tell Sherlock what it said. And so Sherlock had to go back to the drawing board and start decoding it himself. And the clue came from Watson, because he had been up pretty much all night, and she was about to go to, I think it was like early morning. It wasn't like 10 or something. It had to be late because it would look dark in the room. So he was decoding it like he was getting frustrated because he knew the cipher, but he still couldn't decode it right. And so Watson told him to something about looking at the time or something. And so he looked at the time on the text message of the new code that came in, and it was 4:32. If you remember, 4:32 was also a number from, I think it was the end episode actually. And so that was a significant plot point. If you didn't remember that, you probably wouldn't have understood why. And so that was the cipher in a way. So he ended up decoding it, and it was a message from Moran about his sister. He said, "You didn't tell me about your sister. She would die or you, your choice, M." And I was like, oh shit, because he had left Moran because he was back at the apartment. And so Sherlock was he called Gregson, and Gregson was waiting for him the whole episode because he did not know what's going on, because Sherlock would not tell him a single thing about it. Like, he was hiding everything, even in the beginning when he first he talked to Moran. And so then while this is happening, Moran starts singing another tune, a different one, but it basically was like, and it matched up to when he was decoding the message. It matched, like, the letters of the words he was singing matched up to the note, the deciphering that he was doing, the decoding. And I was like, that's neat in this really weird way. So basically Moran decided to kill himself, and we do not know if he made it, but he was, while he was still singing, he stood up to his mirror in his cell and started bashing his head in, and he did it a couple times on screen. And then that's when Sherlock called up Gregson, and Gregson told him they have him in the emergency, but they don't think he'll make it with the amount of blood and swelling in his brain. So we don't know if he made it. But then right after that phone call, Sherlock got a phone call from I think it was the other phone. Yeah, it was the other phone that he had from the other guy, and it was from an unknown number, and he picked it up, and it was Moriarty. And then they end the episode like that, and I was like, "Oh, you serious, man?" Because you can't just, because he was like this Sherlock Holmes who was speaking. I think he said, "I know who you are," and then he said, "This is James Moriarty." And then I think what did he say? I think he said something to him. Either that or they cut it off. I can't remember right now. It was crazy. because it's about Irene, of course, because during the trailer for the next episode, thank God there's next episode, or I would have been upset, because seriously, this episode is basically pretty much the beginning of the arc. And so in the trailer, Moriarty says, because Sherlock is like, this is about Irene, right? And then he says yes, and this is your fault or something like that, and this whole thing is your fault. And Sherlock asks him, you were the one who killed her, weren't you? He's like, that's the question. That is the question. And it'll be something. So basically, that's what this whole thing about is, Irene. And this is where my theory comes into play. The theory I've had all series long, ever since the Irene Adler element was introduced. She's not dead. I'm pretty sure she's not. Because we already know she's faked her death before in the canon and also in other forms, especially in BBC Sherlock. She faked it once, and then she faked it multiple times technically, but before Sherlock, and then he saved her life. So we're gonna find out what happens. And I'm not a Shireen shipper, but I don't know. Jonathan Miller kind of makes it, like, his Sherlock kind of makes me feel okay, because I don't like to see him sad, because like he kind of makes me want to cry when he's vulnerable and upset, and it's kind of scary, and I can't wait to see what happens. Like, we already know who the actress is. She's from Game of Thrones, and I can't think of what her name is right now. And I'm pretty sure y'all know who I'm talking about. But she's gonna be Irene, and so I can't wait to see what happens. And hey, this is my longest review in a while, which I'm happy about, because I got to talk about everything. And just a little side note, I started playing this awesome Sherlock game. I posted the video yesterday, the first one, and I'll be getting a mic tomorrow. So, or tomorrow or today, whichever day you're watching it. Well, it'll be tomorrow because I'm uploading it tomorrow. But so today, tomorrow, whatever, you get it. I'm getting a mic because when I recorded that video, you can hear the clicking and you can't hear my voice that much. And my commentary was kind of hilarious. For that, and I'll have the next one up soon, because it's pretty cool. I found the game online. It's free, and I have the link in the first episode, so you can watch it if you like. I'll put the link to that below. So you can watch that if you want, if you're feeling in the mood to get into more Sherlockian things, because it's based off of the characters are the ones from BBC Sherlock, but it takes place in they kind of made it into the canon of the adventures of Charles Augustus Milverton. And I covered that in the last episode, at the last review episode. Isn't that awesome? I was like, oh, it's coming all full circle again. I'm excited. But yeah, that's really fun, and I'm excited about it. I had fun doing the first part. I can't wait to do it again. And I hope you guys liked this review. I had fun. I like this, and I knew I had a lot to talk about, and I'm happy I got to do it. And I'll see you guys soon. I'll definitely see you guys next week if you're not watching my little gameplays, my gameplays, let's plays, my playthroughs. I'll see you guys soon, and I hope you all are well. Bye.